but I would like to get to that point where I can just say no and stay at home and do nothing, or read a book, or just like hang out with another friend if that's what I actually want to do instead of hanging out with this friend. How does one get comfortable? What's your take on kind of learning to set boundaries and say no?
So I would say that your good friends will absolutely accept and support it, but you have to ask for it. So when I was writing the book, for example, single mumming, writing a book, doing my day job, like, you know, all of these things, managing everything, I did not have the capacity to see a lot of people. Like, I really barely did a lot of the socializing. I had to kind of go all in. That's what I chose to do for the book, for me and my girl, right? And that meant that I didn't have as much capacity or availability. So I told my friends that. I'm like, guys, listen, you know, each individual person, people really close to me, kind of trying not to be apologetic about it, but like, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to make some quality time. So what I really want to see, and I really want to spend time with you. Let's look at a trip we can do together. Let's look at something where I'm not going to be constantly distracted. Let's make sure we've got some things across the diary, but I can't do the sort of other bits and pieces that we were. I might not even be as available to kind of check in as much, but I'm still here. And everyone that is my friend was like, you go, babe. Ask me, what do you need? I'll do it. You know, amazing. What do you need? I'm there for you. You go on. So proud of you. Like, I get some of my friends on, you know, all got the girls group chats. When I'm doing something like this, they'll send a picture of it and be like, so proud of you. You know, so that is like an amazing place to get to. But if I'd tried to kind of keep up, say, doing things that I think they want of me, that I think is an expectation they've got, I'm probably going to get that wrong, burn myself out, and that's not what anybody wants at all. They want me to do well and they want me to be okay, you know. So, and my responsibility in that is to educate people with what I need and what I'm capable of giving right now. And people that are, you know, again, good friends or like supportive people are going to be totally fine with that. You know, if I've got this much right now that I can give you. Cool, let's do this and this. You know, so I would say to people listening, firstly, check in on what you have. I think we do have this thing as women where good girling. I do a lot of executive coaching. So with companies, quite often when I work with very senior women in roles, it looks like maybe they're not managing time well. And it's not that, because we're amazing time managers, by the way. But the thing I think sometimes where it can fall down is the saying yes to everything. You don't want to say no. And then ultimately you're like haven't got capacity with everything. So it's also like I would say, a responsibility and a kindness to let people know what you can do, and it's absolutely fine what you can't.
So in our attempts to make change, to create a different life for ourselves, when that starts to trickle down and impact existing relationships, how do we navigate that?
One of the things I say, and the only constant, is don't negotiate your change with people who want you to stay the same.
I love that.
It's powerful.
Wow.
Yeah. Do not negotiate your change with people who want you to stay the same. When we choose something for ourselves and we know that the people existing in our lives are going to have some kind of a resistance to it, or they're going to try to talk us out of it, or they're going to passive aggressively change the way they treat us so that maybe we get the hint not to move forward, or they're going to take something away from us, from what they have to offer us, like the acceptance or the welcome. We go back on the change so that we don't lose them, right? We say, their presence in my life is more important than my own life. That's really what we're saying to ourselves. But that's the battle between authenticity and belonging. The two should be present in every healthy relationship in our lives, where I can be myself, which includes I can change my life. I can go for the changes that I want, and I still fully belong in your life. My welcome in your life isn't dependent on the expectations that I meet for you. My belonging in your life doesn't depend on me staying the same. Now you're at a crossroads between choosing yourself and choosing being welcomed into the lives of people who you were always welcome in. But now you have the awareness that your welcome is conditional on you remaining as a certain version of yourself, on you making certain decisions for yourself. So when that point comes and you're at that crossroads between choosing yourself as an evolving, changing person of choice and choosing the person you always were before, it's a choice between your past and your future. And you have to decide, who am I choosing? This is your action point. Make the decision to not negotiate your change with people who absolutely want you to stay the same. That's the first step.
I'll share a story with you. I had a hairdresser at the TV studio, and he's left now. And on his last day, he took me to the side and he was like, you know, I absolutely love you, but I have to share something with you. I have to tell you something. If there's one thing that I leave with you, this is it. I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. And he goes, you need to stop being so nice. You just need to stop. And I was like, what? I thought he was joking. And he said, yeah, you need to be a bit of a bitch around here to be respected. And I just sat with that for a while because I was like, well, hang on a second. That's not the way I operate. It would be really alien for me to try to be that, to be respected. Because, you know, there are people in the world, in the industry, who do navigate themselves in that way. And I sat with myself and I was like, yes, 100%. They probably get their stuff done for them in a better manner, in a quicker, more efficient manner, because the people that are doing it for them operate from fear. Not from love for them. It's from absolute fear.
Yeah, that's not respect at the end of the day.
It's not respect. And that's not what I want whatsoever. And I went to a friend of mine who's in the industry in the US, and I was like, he's told me this, what do you think? Because at the same time I was experiencing a lot of disrespect, a lot of undervaluing. And I thought in that moment, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be this. I'm going to be like that hard nut. Obviously, it was just like in the spur of the moment and I had the adrenaline rushing. It just wasn't true to me. But I think that what I have figured out and what I'm still learning to this day is the difference between being kind and assertive. I think that you can still be kind with it, but still be very clear and concise about what it is that you want. And I think that I got muddled with that. I thought, you know, as the talent that, you know, I don't want anyone to think I'm difficult. I don't want anyone to think I'm a diva. As women, we get labeled so easily. Diva, bitch, difficult is what we get. If a man does it, it's, wow, like he's got something about him. He's powerful. He's strong. Whereas we get labeled completely something different. And so that kind of balance I've literally been trying to just weave into my everyday interactions. And that has been stopping myself. I've literally been stopping myself from just being the yes person and stripping it back. And that's a you know, a quality of a highly confident person, is the ability to respond and not react. So responding means taking your time. It means not waffling. It means understanding and treating your words like gold, that you don't need to say a lot. You just need to keep it concise, keep it tight, and get your message across in the right way. And as a woman, I just feel like I have been learning to, and I've been burnt along the way. I mean, I'm sure you can share some stories, but I have really learned the hard way of being too nice, because people also walk all over you.
Yeah, they take advantage.
They treat you terribly because they're like, oh, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Nimi won't mind.
She'll say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never minds.
That happens all the time. And so I'm just learning now that, you know what, Nim, there's a way to be kind and super nice with it and respectful, but you just need to be very clear about what you want, and then you'll get the outcome you want as well.
Going back to that idea that like people pleasing, it's self-betrayal, it's not kindness.
Yeah.
So I'm the kind of person who generosity was one of my top, I think it was in the top 5 values. I love doing things for other people. I'm Italian. I love having people over. I love cooking for them. I love giving them experiences. I love providing a shared meal and holding conversation and creating things for other people to enjoy. So I have historically fallen in the trap of people pleasing, especially growing up as a teenager. I was oldest daughter of 4. But at my core, there is this value of generosity. So I have had to learn a way to be generous in a way that aligns with my values, that is not self-betrayal. And I think a lot of people are like that. I think a lot of people, especially, I mean, I don't want to be culturally specific, but I think a lot of ethnic kind of cultures, Italian, Lebanese, Indian. Like I've just met so many cultures that have this shared food, love, experience, family. And when you come from those kind of traditions, you're very generous in nature. I think what's really important to ask as an adult is at what point does this align with my values or not? At what point is this an obligation? I feel like I have to be doing this for somebody else versus I genuinely want to be doing this for someone else. And I don't know if that strikes a chord with you personally or anyone listening, but I wanted to bring it up because I think sometimes when we think about people pleasing, it's like, don't do anything for anybody else. Do it only for yourself, which is true in this context. But for me, it's been maybe a bit of a gentler way to reframe it, that I can be generous and do things for others when it aligns with what I actually want to do.
And I couldn't see it like that for a long time. But making the choice to do that self-work, the reason I say it like that is because it's not selfish. And lots of people, they just think, well, it's not about me. Like I'm in the trenches, I'm a mom, or I'm, it's like you're worried about everyone else. And that's a beautiful, wonderful thing. But it's never selfish to work on yourself. And you don't need to be a martyr. When it comes to your self-worth and your self-talk, you do not need to self-sacrifice. It is not in anyone that you love's best interest to do so.
Yeah.
So prioritize your mental health. Prioritize your emotional well-being.
By the end of the day, once I've ticked off tasks, replied to emails, kept it all together, sometimes I need to remind myself that I need a minute to myself too. So once everything's done, I grab my London dairy ice cream, sit on the couch, just me, a spoon, and that moment I've been waiting for. It's my little ritual, and honestly, it hits a spot every time. If you haven't carved out a moment just for you today, this is your sign to do it. You deserve it.
I say it's poor spiritual hygiene to allow everyone access to you. And I think for a really long time of my life, I was leaky with my energy. I gave it to everyone and anyone who needed it, or if I could help out, or if I needed to feel more important or more needed, I would just, and I'm like, I'm done. I just want to focus on myself. And it's honestly amazing what can happen in a year when you pour all of your energy into yourself. It's beautiful, and not having to think about anything else except for you and your well-being and your daughter and your business and what dreams you have. It's also just a really beautiful permission piece for me to be able to know that like I can say no to people. I was such a people pleaser, such a yes person, and I would feel deathly guilty if somebody wanted something from me and I didn't feel like I really wanted to do it. I would still say yes.
Can relate to that.
And now I'm like, sorry, no, I say no to everything. And without an explanation too. Like I used to over explain why I want to say no to people, which is ridiculous. But that's just, the conditioning that we have.
You have to justify it.
Totally. Yeah. We must be good girls. We must do things for others. We must say yes. We must be there. But it's I feel like when I say yes to myself, I also allow other people the space for them to look after themselves too. I don't need to save everyone.
You know what's interesting about all this is when you're in that, I have to please everyone and I have to say yes to everything because I want to try and make it all work and I want everything to be perfect. The way you show up is such a superficial, empty version of yourself. I remember, I'd say it's probably 10 years ago when I was at law school. I studied to be a PT at my gym because I worked out it was cheaper to work there than pay the membership. I had a very active social life. My parents are divorced, so I wanted to make them both feel like I wasn't choosing one over the other. So I'd split my time and carry my suitcase every week to make sure they both felt loved, and it was just a lot. And I was doing everything in my head that I thought was right. But when I was spending time with people, I felt like a flake of myself. I was like, oh, I'm just here, but I'm just like a blob here. And I was exhausted all the time. And so when I really reflect on it, what's the trade-off? You're saying yes to someone else and you don't have to go through that discomfort of saying no, but the quality is not there. And maybe this has just been an age and an experience thing for me, but now I'd much rather say no to someone than show up as a half version of myself. And on top of that, me moving overseas, me and my husband were both Italian. We've got big families. We're very close to them. it was a hard adjustment not seeing them on a weekly basis. But in saying that, we would see them after working 9 hours a day. We'd rock up, some people would be tired, my husband would still be doing work on the computer at the dinner table. Like, it wasn't always quality, whereas now we might go back for 1 or 2 weeks, but we're there. We've taken the time off, we're there to spend time with people. It's the best version everyone's got. It's like more intentional, right? It's not like this, default, I see you on a Thursday night type thing.